Alan in Yorkshire says, schools have closed today because of a little bit of snow. In 1955, schools would never close. Snow, ice, even smog. The British bulldog spirit. Yes, kids were sent to school in ice cubes, essentially. Didn't matter. Nobody had radiators anyway at home. It was probably warmer at school. What has gone wrong? And today we hear more on this very issue, that the Trades Union Congress is urging employers to allow staff to work from home during severe weather conditions as snow and ice cause widespread disruption across the UK. Transport badly affected, sub-zero temperatures recorded overnight, health alerts in force. Unions say workers should not be penalised if conditions make travelling unsafe. Let's speak with Kevin Rowan, Director of Dispute Resolutions at ACAS, former head of Organising and Service Learning with the Trades Union Congress. Kevin, good afternoon to you. Nice to have you with us. Are you working from home today?
I am working from home today, Ian. Yes, I'm based in Newcastle. It's pretty white outside, but in ACAS we have hybrid working, so working at home
Indeed
is a fairly regular occurrence for me, as well as going into the office and various
Sure.
locations.
I mean, you're the right person to talk to, because you're all about resolutions, of course. So, you know, how do we resolve snow? Because here we have this conversation almost every year, don't we? That, you know, and this is largely separate from the specifics of working from home, but stuff in this country does kind of come to a grinding halt the minute the white stuff lands.
Yeah, it does seem to be something where annually incapable of dealing with.
Yeah.
As you say, I mean, there are obviously extreme weather conditions that do make travel for most people quite difficult. But it seems, you know, when there is the slightest dusting of snow, as you describe, it can cause havoc in some parts of the country, and in those circumstances, then employers and workers and trade unions have got to work out what the best solution for them is.
No, I get that, and literally, I can't remember how many years ago it was, maybe 7, 8 years ago, I remember, it snowed. I literally couldn't get out of my house, Kevin. I mean, you couldn't drive a car. I live on a slight slope, so couldn't drive a car in or out of it. You couldn't walk down the streets. There were no trains running. I quite literally could not get to work, and that's understandable. I suppose the questions start to come thick and fast when it's not about that, but it's about an employee saying, you know, it's quite cold out there, so I don't want to go to work. That's a different argument, isn't it?
Yeah, and to be honest, Ian, that's not an argument that we tend to hear. I mean, certainly, it's quite rare, I think, when people feel unable to get to work because of the weather conditions. It's rare, but it's not unheard of. And in those circumstances, then we would encourage employers and employees to find a solution that applies a bit of common sense, a bit of flexibility where that's possible. Clearly, it's the employee's responsibility to get to work if they can.
Yeah.
But in those extreme circumstances, then we would encourage them to talk to their employer to kind of explain the situation, and for the employer to be as flexible as they're able to be. Now, some employers will have arrangements in place for these conditions. Lots of employers, as you indicate, have hybrid working, home working arrangements. Lots don't, and in those circumstances, people can feel a bit vulnerable, a bit unclear about what they should do for the best.
Yeah. Do you sense this year is any different? I mean, we haven't really. I mean, there is some snow. We've had some. You're in a different part of the country. You've got some snow there. But, you know, we've all seen it far worse than this. Has anything changed for the Trades Union Congress to be sort of making noises about employers being more understanding of their staff?
I'm not sure that there's anything particularly changed, except that there is a greater prevalence of flexible working and home working now. I mean, post-COVID, it's much more common for employers to offer those flexible working arrangements. Obviously, that doesn't apply for everybody. If you're you work in cleaning services or in retail and hospitality or security services or some of our frontline public service workers, then it's not practicable for you to work out. But it certainly is much more common that employers are adopting those flexible working arrangements.
Indeed, yeah, and working from home is a whole, it's just a phrase in the English language now that perhaps wasn't there in previous years. Kevin, thank you for your time, sir. Really appreciate that. Kevin Rowan is Director of Disputes with ACAS. They're the Advisory, Conciliation and Arbitration Service. Thank you to him. How much of a tough old gig is it when it's? I mean, the fact that it's cold, and man, it's cold. I mean, really cold. I was in Bulgaria at around about April last year now. All right, it wasn't midwinter April, but, you know, there's still a lot of snow around and people skiing and stuff like that. It was around about 10 degrees, I think. And when I took the dog for a walk this morning, I mean, you know, even wrapped up, it was properly cold. And I loved it. I thought, yes, this is winter. It's a little bit icy every now and again. Now I'm over 40, you've got to watch those hips. So I didn't want to cack over. So you've got to be mindful of that. I think that's called common sense. I don't need a government or some big sign or a, you know, no-go zone poster put up anywhere. I don't need to be told to stop going to work unless, of course, the trains aren't running, which is something that does happen. On Friday, by the way, can I just get this right? Last Friday, separate point here. So last Friday was the day after, January the 2nd, wasn't it, last Friday? So I did the breakfast show last Friday. Even Alicia, who was producing that day, I use that term rather loosely, but she was producing. I left here at 10 o'clock in the morning, go over to the railway station, which is a spit from where we work, and I looked up my train, and I thought, that's a bit weird. It said on the big notice board, ask staff, and I thought, oh, hello, we're in for some trouble here. And I looked on the app and it said, yeah, there were trains going to Sevenoaks, but it was going to take me just shy of 2 hours to get there. This, by the way, is a 23-minute journey on a good train. 2 hours? What's gone on? And so the woman said, oh, mass engineering works, all penciled in. And I thought, no, but last Friday was a normal working day, wasn't it? There was no bank holiday, was there? Or no holiday. Like you have New Year's Eve, which is also actually, I think, a working day. New Year's Day isn't. That is a holiday. But the day after, what kind of transport company decided they were going to do such huge engineering works that they would literally make your journey 4 times as long? And that involved changing trains, by the way, about 3 times. And it was bloody cold, which meant jumping in a cab. And, of course, that's hugely expensive. Can't claim it back. That's the way it worked. Well, you could give it a go. But you take the point. And this is the sort of country we're in. We're just not very mindful of joining the dots. Oh, well, it sort of seems to be between Christmas and New Year, so we'll just close the railways, shall we? No! You don't close the railways, you half-wits. You keep them running. Do your engineering work some other time.